They go on track at 9. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Mazda Shootout. I'm Shay Adam here to take you through all the behind-the-scenes action of this super cool event. Every year we've been hearing about Mazda giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships. Now we're going to see how it all happens. It's $110,000 to the scholarship recipient, the winner, if you will, 75 for second place, 75 for the women's scholarship. So there is a lot of money on the line and 12 candidates fighting it out to try and get those scholarships. So we're going to take you behind the scenes, unprecedented action and live access to this decision-making process. We're here in Kershaw, North Carolina at Carolina Motorsports Park, South Carolina, but the action set to kick off. How does this work, you might be asking? Well, there's groups. We have 3 cars on the track separated by timing intervals. They will go out one at a time and 15-minute sessions, only 2 of them per day for each of the candidates. 3 cars. We've got those cars behind us ready to go with 3 drivers. And in between the MX-5 Cup, we've got Spec Miata going out too. People fighting for the opportunity to become an official Mazda driver in Spec MX-5 racing. So several youngsters looking to try and change their lives over the course of today and tomorrow. Track action will begin at 9 a.m. Our first group in the gray car is Nathan Nicholson, in the blue car is Chase Jones, and in the red one is Sally Mott. So they get to go out for their 15-minute sessions. The car is coming back into the garages now. We've just had the group photo taking place out on the front straight, and you'll notice there's some tire changes going on. That's because Tom Long, who is a factory Mazda driver for many, many years now, took all 3 of the cars out to shake them down, make sure that everything is exactly the same on all of these cars. So now they're fitting sticker BF Goodrich tires to each of the cars so that when the drivers go out, the cars are warmed up. We know that they're in perfect operating condition, but the tires are all equal as well, brand new, and the perfect opportunity for all of our potential scholarship recipients. So it will be a fast and furious 15-minute session, but the most important thing that we need to keep reminding our candidates, the fastest driver does not necessarily win the scholarship. And that is why I'm here, to try and show you what goes into this decision for Mazda, because it's a big life-changing opportunity for each of these youngsters. And just because you're fast out there doesn't mean you're going to walk away with the prize. There's so much more to it. Are you a good person? Are you a good speaker? We're going to interview some of these candidates. For the first time ever, they'll be on camera on a live stream. And that's just part of the fun. So we hope you'll stay with us over the course of this 2-day event, bringing you 5 sessions live, including the scholarship awarding session, where we might just see some tears. But we'll be back with you shortly. We're going to find some of these drivers and ask them and their coaches, what is it that makes this so special? The drivers are out on the track right now getting a feel for the layout. They're out there in minivans and almost anything you can find. I saw Stephen Mackler out there with a very special car taking some drivers for rides around the track, trying to figure out braking points and stuff in rental cars. So while they're out there, we've got their cars, which means I can take you through a little bit of a special insight into these race cars. So if you take a look, you'll notice first and foremost, there are 3 pedals and it is a sequential gearbox. So in order to turn the car on, there is a switch on the dashboard that's all the way to the left. They have to push that all the way forward, then push in the clutch before hitting the ignition button. So very similar to what you find in street cars. Then to engage it in gear, they pull that knob back towards them. That is upshifting. Pushing away is downshifting. Something that a lot of these kids are going to be dealing with for the first time, maybe in their lives, maybe ever. They don't have the heel and toe because once they are in gear, they just pull back to put it up and push forward to push down in gears. The clutch only used for coming in and stopping, and then of course leaving the pit box as it is here in the garage. But you'll notice we've got the long road racing cage built in the car, so safety is primary. We've got a radio connector that's up here. This will go into their helmet plug, so they will be hearing voices in their head, again, potentially for the first time for some of these youngsters. The window net right here. And then the radio actually down here, so if they want to turn it up or change the channel, which they shouldn't do, but if they want to turn it up, they have that accessible right next to them. So a lot to think about. Of course, you've got the knob on the side as well to indicate they're not changing lanes out here, but if they were to have a problem and let somebody know to pass them on which side, they do have that capability. And the steering wheel, it comes off, so it makes it a little bit easier for them to get in and out of the cars. But the cars have been fully warmed up. There's still a bit of heat coming off the brakes, which is nice because it's only about 45 degrees ambient right now outside. We're ready to go. They're figuring out the track, and as soon as they come back in, we're going to get the green flag and get today started. We are about ready for go time. Drivers strapped into their cars. Sally Mott is all in position and ready to go. This is when it starts to get serious. This is when the nerves start to kick in a little bit. We've got right behind me Chase Jones still figuring out a comfortable seating position. You might have noticed that they have padding. That's because none of these seats are custom. They are swapping back and forth. 4 names on each of the cars, 4 drivers sharing each of these cars for each of the 15-minute sessions. It's one 15-minute session per driver in the morning, one 15-minute session per driver for the afternoon. So you don't get the opportunity to truly get comfortable as you would if it were your bespoke race car. That means these drivers are valuable time right now to figure out how to be comfortable in the car, because as soon as they get on the track, they're not going to be thinking about that in any way, shape, or form. Sally is ready to go. Nearly done belting himself in. Nathan down in the black and gray car is ready to go. He has fired up. He will be cleared to leave the garages, and about 30 to 40 seconds later, Chase will follow him out. They are spacing the cars out here to make sure that everyone has enough space to themselves on the racetrack where they will not be interfered with in any way, shape, or form. Sally's fired her car up. Chase still getting ready. But while we've got the opportunity, I want to just sneak over this way. So, JP, if you'll follow me, because we have a man who has been through this shootout. He's won it, and it actually did change his life. Since then, he has won the MX-5 championship not once, but twice. Our first ever repeat champion. Hey, Jared. How are you doing? Jared Thomas, welcome to the shootout.
Thank you. I'm doing good.
You've been in this position before. First session about to start. How are the nerves for the drivers behind the wheels right now?
You know, I think the way I explained it when people asked me after I won the shootout was I think the nerves leading up to everything was the hardest, but your most comfortable place to be is in the car. So I'd say they have a lot. The drivers have a lot of nerves, and especially the guys that are sitting here in the other groups watching. They're probably on their toes, but I would say the guys, as they start jumping in the cars, they get a little bit more comfortable, and they can get out there and do what they're best at.
Is there an advantage being in the first group, getting it out of the way right off the bat?
I wouldn't say so. No, I think the way that they have this grouping, I think it keeps everything pretty equal for everybody. But definitely with the timing and scoring being all live, it kind of sets a benchmark for what you need to see. Because when I went through the process, that was still all very private information. We didn't know what other people were doing, so you just had to go out and search for it and find it on your own without a benchmark time. So it's changed throughout the years, but at the end of the day, it's still the same process and same prize at the end.
Well, we've got cars rolling out now. The gray car has already moved. So that means that Nathan Nicholson is on the track. Chase Jones having a little bit of trouble getting his car fired up and in gear. Sally Mott has now been cleared to go out on the racetrack. So we're going to get some cars out there. Stay with us. 15 minutes of them running. Timing is available online. But again, I can't stress this enough. Just because you're the fastest driver does not mean you're going to win this shootout. Sometimes it's the nice guys and the fast guys who win the money. So stay with us and enjoy some race cars on the track. competitors are out on the track right now, about halfway through this first session, and this is the only session where we don't have drivers in the garage right now who know what the track conditions are like because nobody has been out yet. So we will get more driver interviews for you coming up, but the call was just made. Spec Miata are getting ready to go out on the track because these sessions come fast and furious, only 5-minute breaks in between each of them. And Group 1 for SMX is about to go out. Now, this is a completely different category than what we've got out on track. These youngsters are not vying for real cash money, as I like to say. They are going for the honor of becoming an official Mazda driver in Spec MX-5 competition. They get more coaching, better information from Mazda, and this is a big opportunity for all of them to literally launch a springboard of their career. So 3 cars will be going out for this first session. In car number 4 is Bailey Cruz, fresh out of New Zealand. Car number 5 is Corbin Collins. And the car that we've just been looking at is Ethan Goulart. Ethan is a youngster, only 14 years old. So a lot of these competitors still very young in their careers. But I want to point out the difference because we gave you a little preview of what the MX-5 Cup cars look like with the sequential gearbox. Yes, they still have 3 pedals, but they barely use that third one. This car, oh no, we're going full old school. It is an H-pattern gearbox, heeling and towing. A lot of these youngsters, I doubt, have driven a stick shift car before. So this is a brand new experience for them, learning the track, learning a race car, because a lot of them come from karting, and jumping into the deep end too, trying to remember, oh yeah, I need to downshift into third, not first. So this will be a fun session to keep an eye on. They've got a completely different group of judges as well. We've got Nate Cicero back over there, the winner of this. I think it was 2 years ago that he won the SMX category. Stephen McAleer, a team owner. Andrew Carbonell, a championship-winning driver in Mazdas and a very fast man behind the wheel of anything MX-5. So car number 4 in the middle with the blue number, car number 5 on the right, the farthest one out of our screen with a white roof and a white number, and then car number 6 with the dark gray paraphernalia on it. That's one that Ethan will be taking out. So these drivers getting ready to see their first green flag of the weekend. Same thing, they'll be spaced out nice and evenly, and they did have Nate Cicero take out all 3 of the cars for shakedowns as well. They all have sticker Toyo tires on them. So once again, equal conditions. Go out there, show us what you can do, but then come back into the garage and show us really what you can do. Getting our first live taste of what it is out on the racetrack. Chase Jones, you've just gotten out of the blue MX-5. How was it out there?
I mean, everything that I thought I was going to be, it was even more. That was my first time in the car, and I'm smiling ear to ear because I feel like, it's first day back to school. So the car's incredible. It's a little bit different than the Spec MX-5 that I drove all year, but the car performance, the braking, was something a little bit to get used to, but the brakes were phenomenal. The shifting's quite different, but really enjoyed that aspect, playing around with the gears and seeing how the car reacted to the curbs and seeing how I could get it to rotate a little bit better to get the power down sooner. So I'm really excited after that run. I felt like that was a good shakedown for me for the rest of the 2 days, so pretty excited.
Well, and I was going to ask, because you've been on this shootout, but the other side before with the Spec MX-5, how different is it when you're here for the money and there is actual cash on the line?
I try not to think about that until the time comes. There's still work to be done, on the racetrack and off the racetrack. So, the prize is still there, but that's not where my head's at. My head's right here, right now. So that's what I'm focused on.
If you were to potentially come run in the MX-5 Cup next year, a lot of new tracks. Do you look at the schedule and think, oh, that'd be kind of fun to go race at, I don't know, CTMP?
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks on the schedule that, when I first started karts, that's where I wanted to be one day, was at those big tracks. I think as far as my driving aspect, I feel like I adapt pretty well at new places. If that is the case, that I get to go race an MX-5 Cup, I'm sure I'll be very excited to go to those tracks and get the full experience.
What happens now? Because you've got a lot of time before you get back in the car.
Yeah, now is just, I'm the biggest critic to myself, so I know what I need to brush up on, and we'll watch the video, go over data, do our homework in between sessions, and we'll get ready for the next one.
Great job with the first one. Good luck in the second.
Thank you very much.
Before we get the MX-5 cars back out on the track, we have an opportunity to talk to one of the judges and sort of the lead honcho as far as the driving talent is concerned. Tom Long, you got to go out and shake down all of these cars. Can you confirm that they are all identical?
Oh, they are. I mean, we know they are, but this is more just a proof of concept to make sure the gearbox is all shifted correctly, the alignments were all right and everything. Fliss Performance does a phenomenal job with these MX-5 Cup cars. So, yeah, we carried over the same set of tires across all three cars. We were within 0.2 of a second on every car, so it was all bang on where it needed to be. But a lot of excitement here this morning, a lot of fun.
This, for you, is something so cool to be a part of. They said it's the 16th time we've done the shootout, which is kind of crazy from Mazda perspective, but you get to see each of these drivers, their performances on track. What do you look for in how they learn off the track?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because really it's going to be different for everybody. Some drivers have never driven an MX-5 Cup before. Some have never been to Carolina Motorsports Park before. So there's a lot of variability, and really what we're looking for is at the beginning for them just to start at a data point and keep improving from there. So some drivers are going to be up to speed right away, and some will take all day to get there, but really what we'd like to see is by tomorrow that they've kind of starting to put it together and putting their best foot forward.
And what is your role in between the sessions with these drivers?
So there's going to be a little bit of data and video review we'll do with them just to kind of help cultivate them and get them going in the right direction. That's going to be more so this afternoon, but this morning is just going to be answering questions they might have about the car, about the track, or anything in between.
How many questions do you get about all the cool Mazdas you've raced?
Oh, man. Very lucky to be able to do that. Had a ton of fun up in Daytona just a couple weeks ago with those big 4-rotor engines. We had a great time.
Well, Tom, thanks. Good luck. I know you got to run and get back to work. We got the second group getting ready to go out on the racetrack. We will bring you more of that coming up. The Spec MX-5 drivers just about to get their checkered flag. So that means that all the drivers in their cars, we talked about it before, getting comfortable. Well, look at the hand coming out of the car all the way on the far right. That one, that's a racing name because Eben has been around in Trans Am for a very long time. This is third generation Cam Eben, who's getting ready. He was just adjusting the mirrors ever so slightly. This is Noah Harmon behind the wheel of the blue car. Noah, born in Canada, but now lives in Orlando, Florida, so very different part of the world. Getting ready, nice little wave. He's calm and cool and collected. And then finally, in the gray Mazda, this is Alex Bertinoli. He won the national championship this year. Was third in the national championship. No, won the national championship. We had the winner of the Spec championship go out in the last group, but all of these drivers more than capable in Spec MX-5 cars. First opportunity in an MX-5 Cup car. So very different car, very different expectation. Go out, learn it, see the cameras are all there, ready to go. And now we just got to get the cars back on the track. And the important distinction, these drivers, brand new tires, so you're not going out on other people's rubber. Show us what you can do out on the racetrack. But again, remember, learn more when you come back in the garage. we do have the 3 cars out on the track, and not only are you at home on the live stream watching them, but so are all the other drivers, both drivers who have already been out on the circuit from that first session, but drivers who are waiting eagerly to find out what the track conditions are like. Debriefs are going on, but this is more about trying to figure out which lines to take and which lines not to take. So who is out on the track right now? Well, in the gray car, it's Alex Bertinoli out of Chicago, Illinois. He was the national champion this year, winning $30,000. He was also the champion in Spec MX-5, and his dad raced superbikes way back when. In the blue car is the Canadian-born Noah Harmon. He was 4th in the national championship this year, doing a good job so far. And then in the red car, gathering a lot of attention, Cam Eben out of Appleton, Wisconsin, the Spec MX-5 Challenge champion this year. His dad, his uncle, and his grandfather all racing in the Trans Am series. So while those 3 drivers are out, about halfway done with their session, they have a lot of interested parties watching here in the garage as well. And just, if we've got an opportunity, I want to dive in with Jonathan Applegate here for a moment. Can I interrupt you, Jonathan? Sorry about this. We've now had 2 groups out on the racetrack, 2 groups to go for this first session. What have you noticed in the body language of these drivers? Have they calmed down at all?
Yeah, it's always interesting to see at the very beginning of the day where they come in very nervous, very excited, a little angst going on, and then as soon as that first session gets out of the way, the nerves sort of relax. They come out excited. CMP is a super fun racetrack, so the feedback so far from everybody is that they're just enjoying turning some laps and still really trying to set a baseline and make slow progress to get to the very end of the session. But overall, after these first 2 sessions, I think the group consensus is there's more there. There's more left in the tank, and it's time to improve for the second half in the afternoon.
The way that Mazda has structured this day, the morning session is a warm-up, the afternoon session is when they get serious?
Yeah, it is. Like, we really try to set the tone that we're not going out of the box trying to be fast as with pace and really risk versus reward, essentially. We want to protect our cars as well as the individuals in them. So it is setting the tone at the beginning of just trying to get a feel, your bearings for the racetrack, find where your fast points are and the areas that you really need to work on. And then going into the second half of the afternoon, start to find that improvement, start to work on pace, and really find the well-roundedness of your experience on track.
How hard is it for you to split the time between the MX-5 and the Spec MX-5?
It is getting harder because as we've announced, we actually increased our finalists on the Spec MX-5 side this year. It was in the last 3 years, it was 9, and now we're going with 12. So we've balanced that out with 12 MX-5 Cup finalists, 12 Spec MX-5 finalists. Great to see, but it's hard to sort of go back and forth. It's fun, though. It's just really, as you just interrupted politely, I was having conversation with these guys, just getting feedback, and then I'll go and do the same, and it's just the revolving door of conversation, which that's part of it too, is we're out here to understand what they can do on the racetrack, but really who they are as a human being, what they value, who they are, how they carry themselves, communication, feedback on what's going on the racetrack, but just open conversation. And you get to learn who they are as a person and as a race car driver, which is special.
Well, thanks. We'll let you get back to those conversations. Anybody standing out to you yet? Don't name names, but do you have any people who have risen above the rest?
I would say not yet. That's what I'm going to keep with.
I'll follow up with you at the end of the day. Thanks, Jonathan Applegate, the head of Mazda Motorsports. So, as you can tell, there's a lot happening down here in the garages. Even still, only half of the competitors having been out on the racetrack this morning from MX-5 Cup. Still waiting for Group 2 for Spec MX-5. They have gotten into their cars, the Spec SMX cars, if you will, with the side. They are getting ready to go out. And drivers for the 3rd group of the MX-5 Cup, they'll be getting their helmets on here shortly, too.
Stuff, and I think once I get there with that, then I go, okay, let's take this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So right now we're fine.
Awesome. Like I said, first session, getting acclimated, getting comfortable with the car, your braking points and all that. Yep. So overall, though, you look good out there, brother. You can pull off, you can pull off.
That sits on the front, man.
That's the right description. Sits on the front.
Out here with Group 2 having just finished, Noah Harmon, you're fresh out of the car. The second car, is the blue one the fastest?
I don't know about that. I haven't driven the other ones, so it felt really fast. It was a lot of fun. Fliss makes some great cars, so they let us drive for this shootout, so it was a really good time.
How difficult is it to try and learn the car and the track all in one go?
Luckily, I didn't have to learn the track. I was here earlier this year, but the car was a lot of fun. It was cool. It was cool having a sequential shifter. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty tough. It was cold. First two laps were very tricky, and after that, it just got better and better.
Well, Talk a little bit about that, because I don't know if we are accurately conveying just how cold it is. It's not warm out there. How difficult is it to try and get heat into these sticker tires?
It was pretty tricky. The first lap was very, very slick. Like even out of the pits, I was struggling to get some grip and make the corner. But just throughout it took about 2 laps, and then after that, it was ready to go.
How's the spacing been working out there? Because you don't have traffic to deal with. Are you able to just put your head down and focus on yourself?
Yes, I didn't even see another car out there. I was just in my own world the whole time. So.
Well, congratulations on making it through the first session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is part of the cool ability to come here and be in the garage. We've just had drivers come out of the race cars already. They are refueling. They've put the sticker tires on with the new names of these new drivers. So looking right now at Weston Workman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, not from too far up the street, just an all carbon helmet, very simple, getting ready to get behind the wheel of this car. Weston has been to a few of these shootouts before. He knows how it works, and he will be driving the blue car for this session. Next to him is Lauren Brawlier. She is getting ready to go out as well. She was at the shootout last year in the red car for this weekend. She's another one who's from not too far up the street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Started karting at the age of 14, and as I mentioned, ran in the shootout last year, so she's got a bit of experience too under her belt. And again, all silver helmet, very simple, very understated, no flashiness out of this group. And in the primary car, the gray car, if you will, well, this one is Nathan Saxon out of South Kingston, Rhode Island. He too was at the shootout last year. Started racing at age 18. So he's somebody who is still kind of getting his toes in the water for this one. Nathan, I was just talking to him between the sessions. He's got a mechanical engineering degree, and he works for a company that designs parts for submarines. So he's a man who's got a lot of cool background as far as he's concerned, but waiting for the last of the BF Goodrich tires to be put on his car. Then he'll climb aboard once the jack is pulled out. And by the way, take a look at the Fliss Performance jack. That's pretty serious underneath the left side of this car as well. He'll be climbing aboard this car. The green flag has just come out for the SMX session. So we have 3 drivers out on track, and keep an eye on those cars. Brianna Schubert is in car number 4. She is out of Pennsylvania, a Penn State grad. So for all of you fans out there of Penn State, she's one of those, a drag racer child. No, she didn't do drag racing, but her dad did. Elio Meza is in car number 5. He only started racing age 6. He's now the ripe old age of 15. And in the final car, Camden Hibbett out of Columbus, Ohio, a youngster who got his start doing quarter midget racing. He still spends a lot of time every week racing on the sim to try and get practice. And I was speaking to his dad a little bit earlier. Camden loved NASCAR so much that he wanted to emulate the winning interviews. So at about the age of 5, his dad would set up a video camera and let Camden do interviews to then watch back. So once he gets out of the car from on the racetrack, we're definitely going to have to grab a conversation with him and see if his interview practice paid off. But for now, getting ready for the 3rd session of the day for the MX-5 Cup winner. Zilic, you have been to this shootout before. You've had the pressure on to come away with the money. Now you're giving advice to friends and competitors about how to do it. Are you actually telling them what they need to know?
I'm an honest guy. You know, I want the best for all these guys, and you know, the opportunities Mazda has given to these kids, and you know, just having the chance to come out here and witness it from, you know, a different point of view. Obviously in 2021 I was the recipient of the MX-5 Cup scholarship, and then you know, to be able to come back here and, you know, watch these kids chase their dreams, and you know, this opportunity changed my career, my life. So you know, it means a lot for Mazda to give me the opportunity to come out here and help these kids. And to answer your question, yeah, I always try and I'm you know, I lead them in the right direction for the most part, unless my advice is wrong, which maybe it is, but you know, I think I'm pretty good in that sense.
Well, it's worked for you. I mean, going into the MX-5 championship for your first year, rookie of the year, yes, but second in the championship and very nearly taking the prize from Jared Thomas. So how much of that do you tell them, like, guys, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about?
I let the results speak for themselves, right? If they want to listen to me and you know, take what I have to say, that's up to them. But you know, I'm always willing to give a helping hand and, you know, help wherever I can. You know, these guys are obviously very talented and have a lot of potential, and you know, it's been really cool for me to, you know, watch that and watch them grow and learn these cars, and you know, just the smiles they have on their face when they get off the track. So you know, being able to enjoy that firsthand and you know, see these is really cool for me. So hopefully they're listening to me and taking in what I got to say. I feel like I've learned a lot of things that I wish I knew 2 or 3 years ago, and I try and pass that along.
You've won some of the big races on the MX-5 calendar, but looking forward to next year, we've got some new tracks coming aboard too. What are the ones that you have circled thinking, I might have to come out of retirement or semi-retirement to run?
Yeah, I definitely think Sebring. I've never raced MX-5 Cup at Sebring, so that was before my time. So Sebring's the one I want to make it to, and then obviously Motorsport. Going to Canada, racing in Canada. I'm half Canadian, so home country kind of. My mom's Canadian, so getting to Motorsport would be a good one. Having some family there, and those two are probably the ones that interest me, partially because they're new, but also with a little background involved. So I'll definitely be at Sebring. I don't know about Canada yet, but hopefully I can figure something out and make it up there.
Yeah, let's get this man a sponsor. That's another conversation we need to have off mic, the Canada connection. But when you get the wins in this series, so many people from outside of the IMSA paddock pay attention to it. Do you find yourself being congratulated when you go race in other paddocks because everybody stops for what happens here?
Yeah, that's another thing people don't realize. We race with IMSA, and obviously our races are fun to watch and enjoyable to watch. So all those big teams, big guys are sitting in their pit box, sitting in their haulers, watching the MX-5 Cup races. The Frances with NASCAR and IMSA, they make time to watch our races and make sure that they're tuning in. So it's really cool. Everywhere I go, people tune in, watch, and a lot more people than I would expect talk about MX-5 Cup. So being able to be a part of it and get those kudos and knowing that people are watching it while I'm racing is really cool. And just being able to tell people about MX-5 Cup and all the circle track guys that I race with, even in the last few months with Martinsville happening, it's creating a bridge across the two worlds that I kind of live in, and it's been really cool to see that and watch this series flourish and grow as being part of it is pretty cool.
And now you're back as a judge, so good luck making the tough decision.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It will be tough. These kids don't make it easy on us. So, with me and Jonathan Bomarito and Tom Long, we'll have some tough work ahead of us.
Thanks, Connor Zillage. Another group makes their way out on the racetrack for the first time all day. A little bit of sunshine is starting to break through the clouds, and it must be because we finally have someone from cold weather who's used to this. Alex Bertignolli, welcome to CMP. You were out in the second group. What were the track conditions like?
Oh, they weren't too bad. We had a really cold morning, and we haven't seen a whole lot of heat since the beginning of the morning, and we're starting to see the sun peek out a little bit, and the car felt very fast this morning. I mean, usually the track is a little bit faster when we have the cooler temperatures out there, and then as soon as the sun starts peeking in, and heat starts building up, maybe it starts slowing down a little bit. But yeah, so far, I mean, the track feels great, and we're still getting used to the car. That was my first time in the Mazda MX-5 Cup car ever, so yeah, we're still getting used to it, and the track feels good this morning.
You've already won one big cash prize this year with the shootout and the national championship. How much pressure does that take off of you coming into something like this, because you are capable of winning these things?
Well, to be honest, I'm kind of going into this event with not a lot of pressure on my back. Obviously I'm very fortunate that Mazda recognized me and selected me for such a big event and such a great opportunity like this. But we're here to have fun, here to drive the car for the first time, and hopefully we come out on top at the end of the day, and just very fortunate to be here and lucky.
It's a pretty cool thing that Mazda's letting you drive a race car on a track. All right, it's 2 15-minute sessions over the course of today and then come back tomorrow. But this whole thing, this whole experience, what are you taking away from it the most so far?
So far it's just, meeting everybody that's involved here and just getting used to the car, really. I mean, there's not really much more to say than that. Just having fun out here and getting used to the car. It's obviously a little bit different of an experience compared to my Spec MX-5 car, which the other side of the shootout they're doing. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just here to go fast and meet all the great people at Mazda Motorsports. I've known a lot of them already, but obviously there's always new people to meet. So we're just here to have fun.
I can tell you're enjoying every second of this. Good luck, Alex.
Thank you.
And as you can hear the cars behind me on the racetrack, we have 3 more drivers. Nathan Saxon is out there in the gray car. We've got Weston Workman in the in the blue one, and then Lauren Brallier in the red one. These 3 drivers have all experienced the shootout before. They know what they're doing, so taking this 15-minute session to get used to the cars and the racetrack, and as the sun starts to peek out, the changing conditions. Just down here in the garages once again with Lauren Brawlier, fresh out of the red car, and I mean fresh out. She just pulled her helmet off. She's trying to slide away from you. Lauren, how are the track conditions right now? Because they were changing during your session.
Yeah, honestly, the track is pretty good. It was just a matter of getting your tires warmed up on the first lap. I mean, going out in turn one, immediately turning left, the rear kicked on you. So, yeah, it's just a matter of, trying to get the tires heated up and being cautious as we're going through, because we're trying to protect these cars as well as do well, But yeah, I was able to get good heat in the tires. Didn't seem like that was affecting me too bad as I got further on. And yeah, I feel like I was able to put some solid laps down.
How did you feel for session one this year compared to session one last year? Were the nerves a little bit lower?
Yeah, I think last year I was a lot more nervous and a lot less experienced in this type of racing. I've run a full season in sports cars now, so I kind of better understand what I'm doing here. And feel better prepared because, I was here last year. I know what they did. I know what the process was. So, yeah, I feel like I kind of have my feet under me.
Do you feel like you got good enough laps out there? Like you've got enough in the data to go back and look and see where you can gain more speed?
For sure. Yeah, I think that as I was going through, I was like, okay, next lap I'm going to do this. Next lap I'm going to go a little harder into this corner, So I was building upon what I was doing, and I know that going into the data I can go in and look and see, what I still have yet to improve. And I even have some things in my mind right now, So I know there's more speed on the track, and I can find it. So,
great job in that first session.
Thank you so much.
SMX cars are out on track right now, and who are they, you might be asking? Well, Ethan Jacobs out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, is out on track in car number 4. We've got Hudson Swartz, who is a little bit delayed in getting out on the racetrack in car number 5. The young man, who's only 14 years old, out of Washington, D.C., was the 2023 Lucas Oil Formula Car champion this year. His goal to one day wind up in IndyCar or maybe even F1. So remember the name Hudson Swartz. And in car number 6 is Rocco Pasquarella out of Boca Raton, Florida, just north of Fort Lauderdale in the Miami area. 16 years old, has some spec Miata experience, so he is not getting used to this race car, but he is getting used to the track. So these 3 guys out on track for the next 15 minutes, just under remaining of this session. And then we will have the final MX-5 group going out on track. That would be group number 4 before we get our lunch break.
I've been, I started racing Spec MX-5. So you said. Yeah, so you can expect like a but these cars kind of just like get less fuel, but you gotta feel it.
Group 4 strapped into their cars and getting ready to go out on the racetrack. The driver of the blue car is the youngest driver of the shootout. This is Julian DaCosta out of Miami City, Florida, just outside of Sarasota, if you will. He did run in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship this year for a few weekends, 2 of them to be exact, at Virginia International Raceway. Had his best finish of the year in 9th. A BMX racer by start at the age of 3. He moved into go-karts aged 4 and Spec MX-5 in 2022. Behind him, if you will, the oldest driver of the shootout in the red number 23. That is Taylor Ferns. Taylor, you might notice, has some special livery on her helmet. That's because she is a law school student, and she actually works for a law firm represented on her blue, white, and gold helmet. She's a USAC champion, holds many records as far as the USAC series is concerned. Now coming into something very different, trying to see what it's like to drive a Mazda. And in the first car, the gray one, well, that is Wyatt Couch. He's out of El Dorado Hills, California, 22 years old, 3rd time coming to the shootout, but now with a mechanical engineering degree. And this year has been a very, very good one for Wyatt Couch. He won every single Spec MX-5 race he entered except for one in 2023. And he and his dad, running a team together, feels like this year might just be the year. Wyatt is completely at peace when he's behind the wheel of the car. Calm, cool, and collected definitely summarizes this young man. So this will be the final group, the final 3 involved in this shootout. We wait to see which one of them feels the most comfortable after getting out of the car. And then everybody will have had their first 15 minutes. We'll break for lunch, and then they'll get their second one. That's when things start to get a bit more serious. So out on the racetrack right now in the gray Mazda, keep an eye for Wyatt Couch, the young Californian, 22 years of age, just graduated college very recently with a mechanical engineering degree, familiar with how these cars work, but used to a slightly different gearbox. So we will be getting to speed with the MX-5 Cup version of the cars. We have in the red car, Taylor Ferns, a USAC woman who has set records and broken them time and time again. A law school student, works at a law firm in business and mergers, so she does quite serious behind the scenes stuff. I was imagining more of Beth from Yellowstone, if you will. She is getting up to speed with a Mazda for the first time this weekend. And then the youngest competitor of the weekend is the driver of the blue car. That's Julian DaCosta, the young Floridian who got a taste of MX-5 Cup racing this year at VIR and Road Atlanta. One top 10 finish, actually, to his credit, and was on his way to a second one when there was a mechanical issue with the car at Road Atlanta. Very, very capable young man as well. So all three of these drivers just on their opening laps trying to get heat into those BF Goodrich tires because the sun is ducking in and out behind the clouds and there's not a great deal of heat in the air. The temperature gauge actually reading 53 degrees on the pit cart right now. So it will take a little bit of doing, but they do have about 12 minutes to go of this session. It looks good, actually. Yeah. All right, Wyatt Couch has just gotten out of the gray MX-5 Cup car. Now, you were out there for quite some time. You got back in and debriefed with your engineer a little bit. What were you telling him feedback-wise about the car?
I was just telling him what I was feeling the first couple laps, getting back into the rhythm of this car, because the last time I drove it was at the shootout here last year. So it was actually kind of nice, being familiar with the track and that kind of stuff. So just going over what I felt in the car with him.
As far as this year goes, it's very different from last year. I mean, you've got a team now, you and your dad running that, and you've had a lot of success this year in Spec MX-5. So has that given you a confidence boost coming into the shootout?
Yeah, I think it's been huge running my own team. I think we raced 14 times and won 12 of them this year, so it's been a pretty awesome year. And then also working on our cars, it kind of gives you a further understanding of the suspension and all the dynamics of the car. And I think it kind of gives you that leg up on people, just knowing the car that much more.
Do you feel like having the mechanical sympathy, knowing what the car is doing now from an innate standpoint, does that give you an advantage driving-wise?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, just like going that much further into the suspension, coming in and not saying the car's doing this or that, but rather you can get out of the car and say, let's change this or that. I think it furthers your understanding of what you feel and how you can drive it and approaching the limit more.
This morning when we were doing our introductions to everybody, we were asked to say, who's your special person you brought with you? You've got your mama here this weekend. What's it like to have her in your corner?
I think it's awesome. She's super supportive and she's always been there. I think throughout my entire racing career, which is approaching 20 years. I think we're at 17 or so, but I think she's only missed one race in all those years. So it's super awesome to have her here, and I love having her at the racetrack.
Well, great job in your first session. Good luck in the afternoon a little bit later on.
Thank you very much.
The final group is out on track now. This is the SMX. Group number 4, who to watch? Well, Zach Meyer out of Portland, Oregon is one driver to keep an eye on. He is in car number 6. Young guy who's got a lot of karting experience, but not too much in race cars. In car number 5, it is Justin Ataconis out of Ridgefield, Connecticut, a karting driver as well, as you'll find that a very common theme for all of the SMX guys. But he is going to be starting at UNC Chapel Hill, class of 2027. And finally, Rafe Abduali, another one of the karting superstars, but this one has already attracted the attention of some of our MX-5 Cup teams and coaches. So keep an eye on Rafe. Bright helmet, hard to miss. That car number 4. These guys out on track for about the next 13 minutes, and then it's time for the lunch break. The checkered flag is out for this morning's running, meaning all 8 of our groups have had an opportunity to go out on the track. All 24 drivers now see what they are up against, what the conditions are like, what the track is like, more importantly, what the cars are like, and what they can capably extract from them. That is the big challenge for them in this afternoon session. That's when things start to get a little bit more serious. But for now, it's time for the lunch break, for the drivers to go over some of the data with their coaches, with the judges, and to try and figure out how to go just a little bit quicker, because everyone is looking for improvements, willingness to learn, and the character that you show off the racetrack as well. So for now, we're going to take a short break, have lunch, and we will be back. The track action continues at about 1:30 this afternoon, so just a couple hours away. Don't go too far, and come back and join us on racer.com. So thank you on behalf of everyone with Mazda for spending your morning with us.